Hi, everyone. I'm really glad you could join me. You know, with all the horrible things that are taking place in the United States, are due solely to Donald Trump. I'm finding myself wishing for like days gone by. You know, the good old days, the way it used to be. I didn't celebrate Independence Day this year. I was just struggling with it. I couldn't. You know, as far as I'm concerned right now, our independence has been taken away. I'm a baby boomer that has lived during some bad times, but a lot of good times. Well, some of our leaders weren't that great. They weren't racist. They weren't narcissists. They didn't want everyone to admire them as a king. And none of them stripped away all of our federal services so that Americans can suffer. You know, the Texas floods are the most recent example of what can happen when you decimate. The NSW, the NOAA, and FEMA. Yep. Like I've said before, it's only going to get worse. But then there's Alligator Alcatraz. What a horrifying disgrace. There was a time when we did hold people in internment camps. And that was in response to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. That was in 1942, and Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered the roundup of Japanese immigrants to these camps. While it was horribly wrong for Roosevelt to do it, it was his reaction to an attack on our soil. But, I thought we learned from those things, imprisoning innocent people. Obviously not. We did. We were learning. We were progressing until Trump came on the scene. The imprisonment of the Japanese immigrants happened over 80 years ago. You would think that we had become more educated, aware of our civil rights and the rights of others. And our country matured. It did, with prosperity and opportunity. Until now. Alligator Alcatraz is a disgusting and horrific repeat of history. And for no other reason than discrimination against brown people. This country under President Dumbass has slid us so far backwards. I don't know when we'll recover or if we ever will. With the exception of the Vietnam War, I had the privilege of growing up in the 60s and 70s. Good times. That was a time of growth and change. And these little revolutions just to enforce some change. There was a lot of turbulence with that, okay? Because Americans had to fight for that change. And they sure did. The Civil Rights Movement was a catalyst for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. And then there was the decision of Roe versus Wade. That was in 1973, establishing a woman's right to an abortion. Grounded in the right of privacy. My generation and a part of my parents' generation fought hard for change and advancement of this country's civil rights under the Constitution. So I lived during a time of progress and opportunity. Wasn't perfect everywhere, believe me. But it sure as hell wasn't the nation that it is today. That's sad, but at the same time, infuriating. Our rights and opportunities for a better life and a healthier life have been taken away by Trump, of course. And his deplorable acts are being supported by our partisan Supreme Court. That kind of took me by surprise. Our Supreme Court is supposed to be, of course, nonpartisan and just fair. The fairest in the land, really. That madman, our president, was allowed by the Supreme Court to just tear apart our Constitution and to destroy our democracy. They need to be ashamed. There's also these Christian nationalists. Getting so tired of hearing about them or their crap. They're getting away with violating the Civil Rights Act. Every single part of it. All of it. They are discriminating against race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. Every time they open their damn mouths. I can only hope that they're getting their FAFO moments, because they have no right to try to unravel everything that the USA is based on. Its foundation. Jeez. All of this due to their wacko religion. A religion obviously filled with hate and supremacy. Christian nationalists should never have been allowed into our government. But we have an opportunity to change that all in the 2026 elections. So we got some work to do before then. We need to get the Bible-thumping, self-righteous, privileged lawmakers out and make room for progression and opportunity for those who want to do nothing but work for our country and all its citizens, no matter what race, sex, nationality, whatever. You know, and on another note, I really appreciate all of you for watching my videos. I think it's awesome. You know, for the most part, I don't use like any sensationalism or fear-mongering clickbaits, or insert other content creators' clips into mine. It's just me sitting here doing this. No big headlines on my thumbnails. So my views aren't that high. Whatever. But I do my research. And I like to let people know some things that maybe they weren't aware of, you know? And share my feelings and my frustrations with all of you. I know getting my frustrations out makes me feel better. So I would like to see more conversation, you know, like in the comments. Like comments that make people think and reflect on what's going on and share our frustrations together. I mean, we're all in this together. You know, it could have us feeling better if we kind of did that. So that's all pretty much I have to say. So if you could like, subscribe, do all that stuff, that would be fantastic. And get those comments in and see what we could talk about next time. See ya.